out of their way and in many cases put themselves and their reputations and their firms' reputations at risk to deliberately provide me an opportunity to continue to work.
Anybody else care to comment on that? Or?
Yes, I would. I started in the privileged class. I was, you know, a white male. And that's very interesting because I didn't know discrimination also. And one of the things I'm really thankful for is that God gave this to me. At first, I wasn't. At first, I was horrified as a teenager that God gave me this. And now I look at it as a gift because I've gotten to see so much of the world. Mr. Payne, you were discriminated, and you've known that for your life. And I'm a big fan of Martin Luther King also, and I think he's a hero in this country, and I honor him because now I understand discrimination. Ms. Miller, I'm surprised at you because you've forgotten that only, you know, your great-grandmother couldn't even vote, or great-great-grandmother couldn't even vote, you know, a century ago. And you've forgotten that women were discriminated against. I know that pain, and I remember it now. But you asked me how I survived. Well, I had accumulated about $300,000 in 401k. That is just about gone now after 5 years. I also took jobs at a much lower level than my education allowed. My last job, as you know, I was working for Department of Transportation. I was making $10 an hour, and I was filling potholes with asphalt and pouring concrete into sidewalks. My dad gave me a work ethic, and I refused to go on unemployment, and I refused to go on the dole. And so that's what I was doing. But even there, I had a fellow employee draw a picture of me in a compromising way. I filed an EEO suit for sexual harassment, and rather than get rid of the employee who did that to me, they found a way to get rid of me. So even though you said that I was employed, I am now once again unemployed by the state of Florida. So there's a second time I am unemployed. So there you have it. I'm almost out of my original 401k. I'm unemployed, and I'm about ready to sell my house.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Miller, did you want to comment since your name was invoked?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am very much aware of the struggle of women in this country to be treated fairly. I'm a graduate of Women's College. I worked my way through law school. The most egregious example of sexual harassment I have ever encountered happened to me while I was an employee of the federal government, and no one did anything to address it. But I also sit here today as a representative of millions of women who are business owners and small business owners. And I also sit here today as the product of somebody who has been given a leg up, mentored, and helped by men and through my career. So I'm very painfully aware that discrimination still exists in this country 43 years after the passage of Title VII. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have open dialogue and respect each other's backgrounds.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the comments of all the witnesses. Mr. Klein, do you have anything to say in closing today's proceedings? I do not, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank Mr. Klein and my Democratic and Republican colleagues for their participation today, and each of the witnesses for their meticulous preparation and for the work that they've done in making this hearing possible. Yesterday, almost every member of the House of Representatives voted in favor of revisions to the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's anticipated the President may sign this into law this summer, and I hope that he does. I think the issue that 400-plus House members voted for yesterday is the same issue we're talking about here. The principle that drew the House together yesterday was the notion that if you apply for a job or apply for a promotion, you're considered for a promotion, whether or not you get the job or the promotion should be a function of your ability and your work ethic, not any extraneous or irrelevant factor. Now, we're going to have a vigorous debate in this committee over the extent to which transgender status is an irrelevant or extraneous factor. We're going to have a discussion, as we have here today, as the best way to accommodate reasonable concerns of employers in the workplace. We're going to have a vigorous debate as to the scope of freedom of conscience and freedom of religion for those who may feel a different set of moral beliefs than we ourselves do. But I don't think the principle here is that ambiguous or that complicated. I really do think that when someone is up for a promotion or a position at CRS, if that person is the best one for the job, they should get the job. And I certainly don't think that someone should be dismissed from his or her job because of one's transgender status. And we're going to have vigorous debate over the extent to which that principle should be written into our law. The members of the panels today have given us significant contributions toward resolving that debate. Progress in this country is glacial. And if you're the person who needs the progress, it's slower than that. But one of the comments that was just made, I think, do give us some reason for optimism. My mother was born in 1919. The day that she was born, voting was a very new idea for women. Mr. Payne, when he was born and raised, the idea of serving in the United States Congress would have seemed like a preposterous idea, given the circumstances under which he was raised in a city that was supposed to be removed from the Jim Crow South. I remember I went to school with at least 2 individuals who committed suicide before their 35th birthday because they were gay men. And they couldn't deal with the circumstances of the rejection and repudiation in their own communities, in some cases their own families, because of asserting who they were and how they felt comfortable. There has been progress in that field as well. I view today as an important step in the road to progress for all people, all people. And I don't think this hearing simply has significance for those who are members of the transgender community. I think it has significance for anyone who is a member of any unpopular or forgotten minority, who doesn't have a lot of votes, a lot of money, a lot of power, but has a lot of passion behind their cause. So we appreciate everyone's participation. I would note that as previously ordered, members will have 14 days to submit additional materials for the hearing record. And if any member wishes to submit follow-up questions in writing to the witnesses, they should coordinate with the majority staff within 14 days. Without objection, we thank you, and the hearing is adjourned.
Well, Mr. Levy, take care.
You too, and I hope you find a job that suits you.
Well, I hope I do. And just on a personal note, I am a practicing Catholic.